Hey everybody, it's me, Mama D. Thank you for being here on another Sunday evening. I hope the sun is shining as your place as well as it is mine. My guest tonight is Jacqueline Clare. Now, hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right.
Mhm.
Here's just a smidgen about her. Okay, her favorite quote is by T.S. Eliot. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and for the know the place for the first time. Again, tripping over my tongue. I like that one. This quote has been her experience with art. Though she drew incessantly as a child, reams and reams of paper, her words, not mine, she actually resisted the idea of being an artist most of her life. Maybe it goes back to the feeling out of the loop that somehow she wasn't a real artist, or perhaps it had to do with cultural stereotypes of artists necessarily being eccentric and antisocial. I know a few artists and they're not eccentric or anti.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe. Regardless, returning to visual art has been a joyful homecoming. Jacqueline was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, and spent 10 precious years in Austin. She also lived in New Orleans, Shreveport, Louisiana, Asheville, North Carolina, rural Florida, Tennessee, as well as the Simi Valley, a suburb outside of LA. From adolescence until quite recently, acting was her primary creative focus. Creative family is Jacqueline's family is very creative. The black sheep would be somebody who had a normal job. I like that one. Her mom is a painter, her inspiration and mentor. Jacqueline considers herself blessed to have grown up around her mother's work and to know firsthand the challenges of art as a profession. Welcome. Thank you very much for agreeing to be on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Mama D.
And my guest, the first person in our chat room is my co-host from Thursday night show, Gina B. So thanks, Gina.
Awesome.
So other than that, tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So, as you have already introduced, I'm a visual artist. So, I paint and I illustrate children's material. And I have this background in acting. So, it's a really, I think, unusual and unique combination where I am comfortable in public talking to people. I really like creating spaces where I can help facilitate conversations, like going deeper into the artwork, not
Mm,
stopping at just like, oh, isn't that a pretty picture?
yeah.
But sort of allowing the art to elevate our conversations, to inspire, um, a connection with our spiritual reality. And that's really the goal of both my fine art and my children's illustration, is just to help awaken our connection with our spiritual side of life. My painting, I call my genre spiritual realism, which is
Mm,
kind of a play on words. It is similar to, say, magical realism in that it's realistic things that are blended with something mystical. So
mm.
all of my paintings, pretty much, you'll see something you
Oh yeah.
clearly recognize.
I have a few of them.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
well
want to
here's
show
the
some?
cover page. Here's the cover page to your website,
So that
Spiritual
sets it.
Realism. So
Hmm.
the website is let's see, I have that one here. Two things at one time, Darlene. Okay. The website is www.jacquelineclaireart.com. That's JACQUELINE, and spelled Jacqueline, but not pronounced that way. Claire is CLAIRE, art.com. And like I said, I went through your website because I'm not an artist, but I do know what I like when I see art. And I have to tell you that tree is like one of my most favorite types of trees. But I think
Hmm.
this was my most favorite of your paintings.
Hmm.
I think
Splendor and
it's
beauty.
yeah, I think it's stunning.
Thank you so
So
much. What do you like about it? What speaks to you about it?
for me, those types of trees have always been my drawing. No real leaves per se, but
Hmm.
and it's night, and of course you have an albino peacock.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you planned it that way, but to me, that's the first thing I saw. I said, wow, it's an albino peacock on a white tree. That is just
Mm-hmm.
stunning.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So if
Thank you.
anybody
So,
wants to go see amazing art, go to her website, and I'm pretty sure some of it's for sale. So if you are
absolutely.
interested, just look at the prices and just say yes, I want it. But
Yes.
your work is like, it's stunning.
Thank you so much. Well, that peacock was a really great example of something that's, we recognize it from our material life. It's obviously a tree and a moon and a peacock, and then it has those abstract expressionist elements that,
Mm,
to me, really represent and evoke like those unseen spiritual forces that are all around us all the time, that are really, I think, the purpose of our lives, but we don't usually see with our real naked eyes, but in
yeah.
the artwork, you see it both all in one image.
Okay, there we go. That's my co-host. She's saying your
Cool.
art is mystical and magical, and she's a fox lover, so she wants to know if you have any foxes. Gina,
Cool, cool.
go check out her website. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, who knows what's coming. I
I'm a,
like when I
I'm
work, I like to just like invite symbolism. Rarely do I really set out to like, oh, I'm going to depict a peacock. Like it wasn't really intentional. I
yeah.
just take it one step at a time, and whatever I feel like the piece is moving me to
Mhm.
create, then I set out to do that. So it's always a surprise to me even what symbols, come through in the artwork.
Does your art, like when you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to paint something, do you start with an idea, or you just start with a blank canvas and just let your arms flow, and whatever comes out comes out?
Usually I really just start with a blank canvas and I work in a lot of layers. So, it's very freeing. I never have to feel like, okay, here we go. This has to be amazing. I
Hmm.
just sort of start playing with whatever colors I'm moved by that day. And I do like to use a lot of abstract expressionist techniques, things that kind of help get me out of my head. And
Hmm.
then I get to be surprised by what's on the canvas and then think, what is it asking for now, and then I'll try to execute that, and then
Okay.
I'll just keep seeing how it goes.
Yeah. Gina would like to know, because Gina's also an artist.
Cool.
What school did you go to?
Well, I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, and Austin, Texas. I actually did not go to school for art. As you read in my bio, it was more just part of my upbringing.
Hmm.
Most people in my family are some form of creative professional, and my mom is a painter. And still to this day, she is very much my mentor. I'm really lucky to have someone that I can consult with and sort of like stand on her shoulders. So really is just sort of grew up in my blood, you could say.
Yeah, because Gina went to school as an artist, and she ended up becoming an interior designer. So
Cool.
she blended her work that way, and she's got some pretty. I've seen some of her work, and it's like nice. Like I said, I'm not an artist. I cannot draw a straight line with a T square. My drafts teacher was amazed with that one.
Straight lines are vastly overrated.
Yeah, but I can see beauty in art, and sometimes people go, oh, it's just eh. I mean, a red dot on a white background, I'm not too sure about that, but it's something that the person drew with their, or painted with their heart and their soul. It just, I can see amazing things in it. So I kind of like, I'm, I'm an art lover and not an artist.
See, and that's what it is all about. I believe that sometimes we make our something that feels like exclusive or intimidating, like we think we have to be sophisticated to understand or appreciate it. And I think that's a great disservice to it, because just like you said, like what resonates with your spirit, what you
Yeah,
find beautiful and attractive. And I think that that's completely valid.
yeah. Like it's interesting how a simple picture, like you said, the one with the peacock. You asked me what was it that drew my eye, and for me, again, the first thing was the peacock and the tree. And the tree is because those are the types of trees like I call them stick figure trees, but it's a simple way of describing it, but it's not as
Mhm.
simple to draw it. Like I'll sit there and just doodle that, you know. But the peacock, there was something about that. I think, not sure whether it was the color, the with the tree or whatever. But somebody else will look at your paintings, and I'll put it up again, of course, because it's my favorite. Let's see where we go. Um, Somebody else will resonate with the moon, or you have two other, which I just noticed now, two other little circles in the background, and I'm not sure what's in them, but one of them on the bottom looks like one of Gina's foxes.
Oh, in the circle?
Yeah,
Oh, neat. Who knows?
but
It's like a dream, you know, and it's kind
yeah,
of like it might resonate differently with different people.
yeah, but and that's what I say. For me, artwork doesn't have to be all about one type of thing. Like I said, you can. I remember seeing something a while back about a big red dot on a white background sold for an obscene amount of money, and I went like, I can't look at that and see art. I can just see a circle on the background. But somebody else enjoyed it that they paid enough money for. Whereas it's something like that, I would pay money for if I had it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would pay the money for it. And there's another artist. He's a friend, Facebook friend, and he was contractor. He would build
Mm-hmm.
and fix and everything else. But then something happened. He had to stop working, and he started drawing. And he connected to spirit, and he drew an amazing set of pictures that it created an oracle deck.
It
And
created a what?
an oracle deck,
What is that?
like tarot deck, but
Uh-huh.
oracle.
Okay, so
And
same purpose.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and just check him out. He just finished drawing a Black Panther or jaguar. I'm not sure. I think it's a Black Panther, and stunning. It's like, and he draws trees like yours as well. His name is Patrick Gamble. He's in the UK somewhere, and amazing artwork. And for me, that's just like I can sit there and look at people's art and just kind of get lost in it. So it's fun.
Cool. Cool.
Now, you also were an actress. What drew you to acting? Aside from that, it was another form of art.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I mean, I wasn't acting since I was a child, and so I kind of joked that like most little girls want to grow up and be an actress. I just meant it, um, and my family was supportive and that sort of thing. Um, I was attracted to being able to be inside of the story.
Mm,
I see art and very much acting probably the best way to like time travel and get to have multiple lives and stuff,
yep.
um, and I was very attracted to that, and which I am still able to do through visual art. It's less immersive, but I also have more control over it.
Yeah.
And I also I was attracted to the platform, the ability to inspire people, help people, an audience feel like they're not alone, that like
Yeah.
someone has had similar experiences as them. So those were some of the things that initially attracted me. And again, I found that it's something that I'm equally able to do with visual art, just in a different way.
Yeah. As an actress, you have uh, sort of like a bigger reach, whereas an
Mhm.
artist, it's still a big reach, but it's a different venue of people. It's a different reach of people. Now, children's books.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
get to see those, but I'm gonna have to go back and look.
It's coming now. It's coming. So I should be pre-selling it by November. So my first book is called Noble Beings. It's a spiritual handbook, and it's actually just a series of very short quotes from the wisdom from the Baha'i writings, and it really covers everything from like our spiritual nature to how to treat other people to like character qualities like truthfulness and courtesy. Very, very short but profound
Okay.
quotes. And then illustrated with just really relatable, joyful illustrations of children that will help grown-ups reconnect with that like childlike joy,
Yeah.
and also help children like internalize these things. I'm trying to I mean, I'm sort of like silly about this, but part of me is like hoping I can help save a generation of tons of therapy if they can just like
Yeah.
grow if they can just grow up and like retain some of that like openness and joy and sort of spiritual freedom that children have, if they can like develop that as they grow up instead of losing it and having to find it again, you know?
Yeah. Example. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, because so many of our in our lives as we're growing up, for those people who had invisible friends, and you were, for me, I know what it is now,
Mm-hmm.
but back in the day when I had those, you were at a certain age, and well, you are a big girl now, you have to stop talking to invisible friends. But now I know different, that they weren't invisible friends, they weren't my imagination, it was something else. And so when a parent has a daughter, because I worked in the public in a convenience store. So when a parent, I can remember distinctly, a woman came in one time, and her daughter was walking and talking to her invisible friend, and the parent goes, "Just ignore her. She's going through this phase of invisible friend." I said, "Wait a minute, it's not a phase." I said, there's someone there for her. Just because you and I can't see it doesn't mean that person's not there. It just, because it's in a lower size, it could be, someone who's passed on in the family who wants to be there. And she kind of looked at me. She goes, "Who are you?" And I went, "Just a cashier, nothing special." And she goes, "You're the first person who said something that kind of makes a little bit of sense, instead of just sort of brushing it off." And that's what a lot of kids go through, is saying, "No, no, forget this. It's not." So if your book can help not only parents, because parents are going to have to read this to the children, so maybe it'll help them to connect and realize that, it's okay for them to talk to what you don't see, because they do see.
Mm.
So I'm going to definitely have to get a copy of that book, because I'm a grandma. So I have, she just turned a year old. Haven't seen physically seen her or put my hands on her and chomped on those chubby little cheeks. But FaceTime is really helpful this time during the coronavirus thing.
Mm-hmm.
But and I can get my son and daughter-in-law to read to her. So yeah, I'll have to
Awesome.
make sure
That'll
that
be
I get that
great.
book.
Yeah. Noble
Yes.
beings.
Yeah, well, I will be stalking your website, and I'm sure you'll post it up on Facebook. Hey,
Yes.
Donna.
Yeah, Jacqueline Claire Art, and also my email list, which on my website, it's really easy to sign up. That's probably the best way to stay in
That's right.
touch.
As soon as you go into the website, it's an automatic. It
Mm-hmm.
sends up if you want to be a part of the mailing list. So yeah.
Yes.
So go to Jacqueline Claire Art,
Yes,
sign up for the
please.
mailing list, and follow on Facebook as well. You have an interesting uh, following there. So that's, again, Jacqueline Claire on Facebook.
Jacqueline
Check
Claire
her out
Art.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Jacqueline Claire Art. Sorry, keep
That's
forgetting
okay.
the art. Um, but yeah, so it's. Do you have, like you said, this one is a little uh, phrases and
Mm-hmm.
sentence things for children to learn from. Do you have, like, this one is pretty much, it's already out there, because it's no longer in your mind, it's actually
Right.
out.
Right.
So what's coming next?
Ooh, wow. I mean, I'm still pushing this baby out, this book. Like it's still taking up a lot of my focus and energy because I know getting it out into the world is going to be its own art project, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I'm working on several paintings right now, and I do hope this book is the first of a series, and also with coloring book options. So I have some things down the pike, but yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Both like grown up and children's coloring books. But this is my first book, so it's been, and I'm self publishing, so it's been a big learning curve. Do we have
Oh
some more
yes.
guests?
Yes, we have Donna Ronaldson, and we have Joanne Jordan. Hello.
Cool.
Um,
Hi.
so yeah, a coloring book. It is an amazing. Okay, for me, it's therapy, because
Hmm.
a friend of mine got me crayons one time, and a big old coloring book that some pictures are colorable and some aren't, but it's the point of actually sitting there and just zoning into one thing. So yeah, coloring is a good one,
Hmm.
and it's not just for kids or
It's
big kids at
not.
heart.
Yeah, I think we tap into just a totally different spiritual, mental, vibrational place when we're using our hands and, thinking about something completely different than our normal cares, and then hopefully making something very beautiful that we're proud of, but
Yeah.
it's not the only reason to do it.
No, it's not, but it's like, yeah. Gina's gone into Facebook now. She was in originally when she was here. She was on our YouTube channel, so now she's in Facebook. So we
Okay,
bounce
cool.
around. But yeah, I think that for you, you've done the art in the arts. You've done acting. You're doing children's books. You do painting. Is there any other art that you would like to? It's sort of like down the line, going. It's on your bucket list of things to do.
Oh, that's such a great question. Well, I am also a public speaker and storyteller. So I do COVID lockdown, I did integrate storytelling and facilitated conversation into my art shows. So it's kind of like this whole immersive experience. Um, I mean, there are many arts that I like fantasize being, good at and involved in, oh, if only I could sing and write songs, but I'm a terrible singer. I find, aerial dancing to be super inspiring and amazing. Beyond like an occasional aerial yoga class where I can, hang upside down in the silks, that's about the max. Um, yeah, I think really my aspiration right now is really just to continue developing and getting better at the arts that I do.
Okay, and the first time we had a small conversation,
Uh-huh.
your energy is like it's really good. It's not like crazy all out there busy, and
Mm-hmm.
but you do have this glow about you that even when you speak about something, you shine. Like when you start talking about your children's book, you were just started your cheeks started to glow higher,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, okay, that's right now, that is your baby. Each
Mm-hmm.
thing you create, it's for me, um it's not just a book, it's not just a painting, it's not just, it is a creation. It is like almost like your child,
Mm-hmm.
because you put so much of you into, and I think a lot of artists do that, put so much of themselves into their work,
Mm-hmm.
that it is like, the gentleman I was speaking of earlier, he doesn't say, people don't buy his paintings, they become guardians of his paintings.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
and I think that's a good way of looking at it. It's like there's, because they're still your children. Because no matter what, that's your painting, that's your, so you're just letting somebody have it and be the guardian. If something ever happens, you know where mommy is, you know. It's something that's an interest for me. That's the way I look at things, is that it's part of who you are. And the more somebody who sees it as extremely amazing, they see a certain part of you that you put into your work, whether it's the book, whether it's your painting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's my take on art.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. And thanks for the sweet words as well. I think that things that are handmade, they do have that love and that energy and that frustration and then that triumph, that the artist who made it like went through as they were making it. Like I
Yeah,
really do think handmade things have that. And I think that is one of the bounties and beauties of bringing handmade creations into your home, into your life, that you kind of like you get to become part of that story and you get to let that energy, affect your life, and I think it's sort of a communal experience.
yeah. Okay, what was the name of the book again? It's silly me didn't write it down.
My book is called Noble Beings, a spiritual handbook for children of all ages.
Oh, I like that one. I know quite a few children of ages
Of
over
all ages.
25.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So that's in November.
That's right. That's right.
So that'll be my birthday gift to my niece.
Cool.
My grand,
Awesome.
yeah, and probably my niece too, because she just
Yeah.
lives next door. Don't have far to go.
Right on. There you go.
Yeah. So everybody, again, and I'm going to keep harping on this one. Go check out her website. It's JacquelineClaireArt.com. Sign up for the newsletter so that you can newsletter mailing so that you can be on the list to know when her book does come out, and check out her artwork. It's amazing, and each person who sees one is going to see something completely different than what somebody else sees.
Absolutely.
I want you to tell me about this one though.
Oh,
The
yeah.
celestial.
Celestial Mermaid. Do you want to tell me what you see in it? No.
What
What
attracts
attracted you?
what
Yeah.
attracts me is I'm gonna say it's a small globe down on the bottom side with all the
Mhm.
lights. For me, that's dancing fairies. Everything is because
Mm.
she is. If you see in her hair, for me, her hair is like a tree. Again, you
Mhm.
have that tree that I like, but this is the dancing fairies. So that's again me.
Absolutely. So this painting is called Celestial Mermaid. And the title that I first wanted to use was Creation Mermaid. And then I thought, well, celestial sounds a little more poetic. But to me, it is sort of this like Sophia energy, this like the female creation force with that tree. And you pointed out the two globes and spheres. Like there's just this sense of this very powerful feminine energy and sort of like worlds being formed.
Yeah,
And as you read in my bio, as a child, I drew a lot. That was my first love. And I never thought that I would paint because I thought that painting just felt a little too like loose and scary and unpredictable. And I love painting now, but this is like it's a blend because it's actually a drawing, a hand-dyed drawing that's then decoupaged onto a painted canvas. So it's like a blend of both art forms.
again, it's another one that is stunning. Okay, Dave in our chat room says, I feel like a grown up kid. You're a boy. Boys are always grown up children.
What did he say? He was saying this to you? Is that what he said?
He's in the chat room. He says, I feel like a grown up big kid. And
Yeah,
I said and
totes.
I said boys are always children, especially to their moms. And I have two, so I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is again beautiful artwork. So how has being stuck in a house with COVID
Hmm.
affected your artwork?
Well, most of the creation of my work was already solitary. So that part hasn't changed. I already worked from home. I was, as I mentioned, I had live shows, and last summer I went on tour, and I was planning to go on tour again this year with my interactive art and spiritual storytelling show. So I did used to balance it more with interaction with people. But I realized very quickly in March that, like, okay, this tour thing is probably not going to
Yeah,
happen
that can
this
happen.
year. And it's definitely not going to happen when I thought it was. So that's when I actually shifted and said, this book that I've been wanting to do for like 3 years, now is the time. One, I'm stuck at home. Two, I'm reminded that things can change in a flash. And if there's something that I really want to do that feels like something I'm called to do, and this
Yeah.
goes for everyone, it's like, do it now because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that this is a lot of people. I mean, I can see the negative in COVID, I get it, but I'm the
Sure.
type of person who sees the positive in everything.
That's
And I
great.
always say this is the downtime. This is the time that you're supposed to you wanted I always wanted to try this, but instead I have to go to work and do a 9 to 5 or whatever the time is, and then I have to come home and take care of the family. Well, now you have some time,
Hmm.
blocking out an hour a day. If when you're stuck at home, like I know a lot of people are going back to work, but for those who are still sort of stuck at home, block yourself an hour a day is high, an hour a day to do something, whether
Hmm.
it's meditation, whether it's art, whether it's like me, and I love watching artists, so I get to sit there and watch paintings and whatnot.
Cool.
Just do it just for yourself, and it doesn't have to have a rhyme or reason. Like
Hmm.
when you start painting, you just started, like you said, you
Hmm.
started with a blank canvas and you just let it flow.
Hmm.
You knew you wanted to do this book, but you kept 3 years, like you said, 3 years putting it off. I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and I've got this to do and I got that to do. Well, COVID just sort of gave us that, dimmer switch, dim the light for us to focus on ourselves.
Good point. Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's people in my chat room that I don't see, but hi, Mark, Tonya, and Anthony. I'm hoping
Hello.
those 3 people.
Hi.
Yeah. Is there anything aside from your speaking work that you want to do, that when COVID is done and we are all free to do and live somewhat normal-ish back to the way it was lives? I don't think anything will go back to the way it was. Hopefully it doesn't, because it was a little crazy back then. What is the first thing you want to do, considering that your book will be published and you can go and just do?
Gosh, when everything like completely opens back up.
Mhm.
That's a beautiful question. I know I keep saying that, but you keep asking me questions I haven't really pondered. Um, and you said other than my live show,
Yeah.
other than my event. I'm just really looking forward to meeting people, like uh, it's I mean, I miss travel. Of course, there's people that I already know and love that I would like to see in person, but I also miss just like the randomness of meeting people.
Yeah.
Like I actually really miss that. So just more opportunities to like go to places and events where I don't know people and people's faces aren't covered up and we can like have
Yeah,
human
exactly.
exchanges.
And you have to figure out people through their eyes as to who they
Yeah.
are. Do you know them? Wait a
Yeah.
minute, do I know those eyes?
Are
Yeah.
they smiling at me? Are they offended? Are they what it Uh-huh.
Yeah, somebody said that to me the other day. How do you know if somebody's smiling? I said, look for those little wrinkles right here. I
Yeah.
said, because if you see those little, as what most women call them, crow's feet, and I call them smile wrinkles. If you see those little wrinkles, you know they're smiling. If they're like, what the? No, it just doesn't work. You figure things out, like I have customers who I haven't seen in a while, and I'll go out and be, I know your eyes. Wait a minute, look at that hair. Okay, we know who you are. They sort of put me, you don't want to have to always do that. So yeah, looking forward to the time where we can go, no more mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 second, let's just check the chat room. We're so good. So your mom is your inspiration and mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have found out a little bit more about mom before we came on the show, but tell us about, what is it about her, aside from your mom, that
Yeah.
of her work that inspires you?
Well, she's just an amazing artist. There's not a whole lot about her online because she's very shy and she doesn't like the putting herself out there part, but there is some of her
That's why I
work on
couldn't
my
find her.
Yeah, that's right. There is some of her work on my website, and it says her name, Sabrina Lammer.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, but she's had a very interesting life in some ways, like I would say way more challenged than the average person, much harder life than I did.
Mhm.
And she's just a very deep, sensitive soul, and she never thought being an artist was cool or any sort of like external desire posturing to be an artist. It's just in her soul and it's just what she has to do, just like we all have to breathe, she
Yeah,
has to make art. And she's really developed a really, really unique style over, the many decades that she's been painting. So it's just been really great to have someone with so many years of experience be there to guide me every step of the way if I want. Like that's how I got started with her, just teaching me things that had taken her 30 plus years to learn.
yeah. Are you guys close enough in vicinity that you get to see each other often?
Yes, yeah, we do. We share an art studio, and so
Oh,
yeah, it's really nice.
that's nice. So that, it's because I know it's hard for parents and children not to get to see each other during this time. So that's nice, a nice little extra. Because no matter how old we are to our mothers and our fathers, we are always that tiny little thing that just started screaming in the middle of nowhere, going, "That's mine. I created that." So you are one of her creations. She may not have used a paintbrush to create you, but her paintbrush was her love at that point. So yeah.
Right. True.
Okay, let's see. Gina wrote something. Hang on a second. My family is very artistic too. Everyone has their own genre. Which one is your favorite?
My favorite genre, like art in general or painting in particular. I guess I'll answer both. Um, uh, my favorite genre of painting is anything that really does open up to the spiritual, and that's really been done in so many different like art genres. Rothko's very simple, abstract things represented his search for the divine. Some of Dali's work is like much more symbolic, and it represented his search for the divine. So, like, I find a kinship with this like history of art that is expressing spiritual nature. And then, as far as like other forms of art that I find attractive and interesting. See, I mean, in the family, I have a writer, a clothing designer, I have musicians. I guess the musicians have the coolest stories, like, I don't know, being a drummer or something.
No, that's I can't play again. Another thing I can't do is I can't play, but my we're gonna go on. It's a whole other area, but my most favorite Muppet is Animal, and he's a drummer. So like,
There you go.
drummers are cute and adorable, no
There
matter
you
how.
go. Drummers are cool.
So you can tell whichever sibling that you have, there's a drummer. You can tell them that I compared them to Animal on the Muppets, which is really weird, but
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. It's my aunt and uncles, but yeah, for sure.
that's been popping up. The Muppets lately have been popping up into my connect with, I don't know, on Facebook and
Interesting.
different, and it's like, okay, and usually it's Animal or this Swedish Chef. That's really bad,
Okay.
but I don't know why, but it's got to go back to something with the Muppets. So I think I'm gonna have to sit down and figure out what happened with the Muppets and me. Joy.
Yeah, it's a sign that keeps showing up for you.
I'm usually stuck with butterflies, and I work with them, but Muppets, not so sure. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
funny, funny. It's
It's
2020, so anything could happen,
very true.
right? This
True.
this year, Muppets. Why not? It's your spirit animal.
There we go. I got Animal. Gina says, I think art and creativity is contagious.
Hmm.
It is if you have an
Absolutely.
open mind to it. Some people who don't, you know, I watch so many different. There's this young woman on Facebook, and I think she has a YouTube channel as well. The Mixed Art Girl. She does these wild things with paint on a lazy Susie, and she puts paint and
Hmm.
different things, and then she spins it. And I was watching that the other day, and I was like, holy cow. If I did that, it would be a mess all over my walls. But I think that's, the work that you do, and the where she puts it. It's interesting, and it makes people, if people can get interested in any kind of art form, and they sit there and say, I want to try it.
Yeah.
Do the lazy Susie thing, but there's one guy who's putting it on a drill and letting it go. He's outside, mind you, but it's the
Cool.
same thing. You can imagine. Gina says she likes painting murals.
Cool. Yeah. Absolutely. On that contagious idea, I think everything is contagious. And I think that's why, that's one of the reasons why how we live and what we do and what our attitude is matters, is because it will multiply, will influence the people around us. Um, and and so the more positive things we're doing and aspiring to, I definitely think it rubs off on other people or makes people think just like you, like, well, I'm not gonna, I can't maybe do that art project. But maybe I can do my coloring meditation,
There you go.
like,
Exactly. Yeah. And David in the chat room says finding inspiration can be testing. And that depends, for me, David, it depends on the way your outlook is.
finding inspiration can be testing, is what he said.
Yeah.
Hmm. Perhaps, I mean, I guess how I like to work is just I like to just like appreciate the beauty of life. Like I take a walk every day around sunset, like I love to just like soak it in and appreciate it. And
Yeah.
then when I paint and stuff, I don't really think about anything, I just sort of let it come to me. And I do see like how, like once something's completed, I'm like, oh, duh, that looks just like the river that I live on or whatever. Like I see how
Right.
things kind of filter through. But, that's why I like to open up and just like create surprise. So I don't have the pressure of like, what do I want to say today? It's really more just open up and let it come through whatever's like in my soul to be expressed.
Like me with this show, I don't have, like a lot of people go, are we going to interview? Kind of, sort of, but it's not, I'm different. That's why I just call it a conversation with friends. You have to start
Cool.
somewhere, whatever you're doing, you have to start somewhere, but you have to be open to it.
And
And
that is, I mean, that's exactly what I would advise for painting. Like
yeah,
exactly what you said. Start somewhere and then be open to where it goes. Like
yeah.
that's my motto. Yeah. And I do teach paintings as well on
Cool.
my so on my Patreon page, it's basically a donation-based subscription art class, and it's spiritual growth through abstract expressionism. And I'm actually going through several projects, teaching step by step some of the techniques that I use just to get started or for creating backgrounds and that sort of thing.
Okay. Gina's loving on me in the chat room.
Oh,
She says, "Mama's very creative." I have my moments.
totally.
I,
Look
I'm
at this
usually I'm
show.
usually the one that shoves you behind.
What's that?
I said I'm usually the one that pushes from behind.
Well, we need those.
Yes. Um, there was, you said that you do on your Patreon channel. I remember seeing once, and I think it was Instagram. There was, can't remember if it was a man or a woman, but they were doing painting while they, as a live. That all you
Mm-hmm.
saw was the camera focusing on them painting, and that was something that was like totally interesting. Like I said, for me, I may never learn how to do it, but I
Mm-hmm.
love watching the process. I
Mm-hmm.
love watching the person's face as they're painting, and just seeing it. Like what there used to be, was it Bob Roth or something like Rothy like
Bob
that?
Ross, yeah,
Bob Roth
with the
back in the,
happy trees, yeah.
exactly. But that to me was interesting because I could get to see his face as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just the hand, because the process. Because
Mm-hmm.
you can, I can sort of see the little hamster in turning in its wheels as y'all are doing your art thing, and it's like, okay, I can see where
Cool.
that's coming from. So that's, for me, I like to watch. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm not much. I painted the wall behind me, but that took a roller, and I was no harm, no harm, no foul. I could
Yeah,
mess that up.
nice.
But it's something that you just kind of, for me, like Dave says, to find the inspiration. I think if you're going to paint, and you know that you are that you have something in you that wants to paint, and you're not sure what it is, start with a dot or start with a line, even if it's not straight. Like you said, the straight line is not important, but it just, you never know what you're going to do, what you're going to find out. The woman who does the mixed materials on art, she just kind of did lines with paint, and they were going, okay, this is the way the picture's supposed to be held. And the way I looked at it, the picture should have been held this way, and it was going up. And it's like, okay, so everybody's going to see something different in your artwork, or because it leaves the person open to it, interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for me, if you're writers, the writer, if a good writer still leaves you open to a certain amount of interpretation, because it'll let your mind wander.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see, Dave just popped something in. I always used to draw at night, less distractions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gun.
Totally.
Okay, Dave,
Yeah.
you have a job to do. You have to draw me a picture. I give you 3 months to get it done. I'm not a pushy one. Just 3 months. Let's go. For my birthday. There you go.
Oh, there you go. It's a nice birthday gift.
Exactly. I don't have to see it on. It doesn't have to be physically in my hands because he's in New Zealand. Where's Australia? I forget. It's down there somewhere. He's our tomorrow. He's our future. Because I have a
Oh, cool.
friend. He's gone now. He was in New Zealand, and every time he would travel, I have this thing when my customers used to travel, they would say, "Do you want me to bring you something back?" And I say, "A pebble." Something you're going to see, a pebble or a rock along your walk, along your way. A small one, no bigger than about a silver dollar type of thing. I said that's it because somebody actually brought me a thing that was like the size of my head, and I went, no, never do that again. How'd you get that on the plane? you know, just so he would take pictures of the rock and here's your pebble, and he would put it up on other things so it would sort of stand out, and that was my gift from down under. So
Fun. Cool.
it doesn't have to be in my hands, but for my birthday, Dave, I want a picture. Doesn't
There
have
you
to be.
go, Dave. There you go,
Gotcha.
Dave. And Dave, I totally agree. Like, it's hard for me to paint on days when I have anywhere to go or anything to do, because it does require a certain amount of just like spaciousness. The sense that there's not somewhere I need to rush to, I need to clean up at this time sharp. I can just kind of like get in the zone, and I think probably a lot of people, that spaciousness that you feel at nighttime when, no one's rushing around to work. It feels like it's like when you can create.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
says eyes
totally.
are my favorite.
I see that. I see that. Yeah.
I'm looking for it. And Gina says, I've been drawing. Oops. Hold on. Let's try that one again. I moved too fast. I've been drawing since I could walk. See, this is what I like. Oops. Where, oh my gosh, eyes. I always drew eyes. Yeah, fox eyes. Okay. Now I just lost silver, shiny ball. I lost my train of thought. But my goodness, we're almost done. We only have about 10 minutes left. Yippee! Jeez, it's like I love my show. An hour is too short sometimes because you just get started and you're like, wait a minute, did it go by already? So it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, the book is coming up. I'm going to harp this one again. Go to the website and sign up for the newsletter, get on that email list, find out when the book is coming out because something tells me this is going to be a really goodie. And for anybody with grandchildren, Gina, maybe we just buy it for our grandchildren.
There you go. How many do you have? How many
I
grandkids?
have only one, and she's a beautiful little. Her name is
Yeah.
Amara. She's a
What is it? Her name?
Amara.
Amara. Beautiful.
Amara. And she takes when my son calls me and FaceTimes with me, she now takes the phone and runs. She's like, okay, fine, yeah.
All right. She's made
Not
it to
because
the running
exactly,
stage. Nice.
exactly, and it's not because she wants to talk to me. Because usually what she does is she takes the phone and she hides it, so I'm stuck under a pillow somewhere,
Funny. Funny.
which is not so good when you're looking for your phone and you can't find it. At one point, my son lost his wallet and couldn't find it, and Amara had hid it under her pillow in her bed.
Wow.
Luckily, he was, didn't need to, anything too much at that point in time. But yeah, so I think she's gonna be she's an interesting child. So she's going to be full of um, energy and she's adorable. So yeah, I think I'm going to make my son work with reading books to my granddaughter and making her
Beautiful.
my special project. It's like a 9-hour drive to get to see her. So
Oh,
COVID will be over soon.
it's rough.
Okay, then we
Yeah.
get to see.
Yeah.
But and Gina has one, and hers is a little grandson. His name is Jake, and he's 2 years old. I've set him up with my
Sweet.
granddaughter.
Sweet.
Oh gosh, and her grandson Jake has been finger painting and sidewalk chalk. He's a good little artist.
Yes. Yeah. Kids, it's so instinctual, it's so easy for them to express their souls.
Yeah, because there's nobody said, oh, do it this way or make them like I said. For me, it's like I always said straight lines, color within the lines. I was never one to color within the lines. And to allow a child to have that ability to just do whatever they want, whether it's sing, dance, finger painting, sidewalk chalk, it's let them have it. There's
Totally.
no, there's nothing wrong with allowing them the ability to do just because. Because there are a lot of parents out there and grandparents. I don't think I'm one yet. I don't know. Um, who will see something and push when the child is not really. It's just, "Oh, I'm gonna draw this for now, or I'm gonna sing this, or do a sports or whatever," but it doesn't last because it's just a moment for them. They may come back to it, like you said. You used to draw lots in when you were a child, and you didn't think you were ever an artist, but
Mm-hmm.
now look at you now. You're an artist,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but an artist in so many different ways, so which is very cool. Oh, Dave. My dad taught me circles of different shapes, joined with lines, and I'd have a horse, a dog, or a kangaroo. That's cool. Maybe Dave will have to give me drawing lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that there. So go to her website, JacquelineClaireArt.com. Sign
Mm-hmm.
up and get the book. Check out her
Cool.
paintings. They are, aside from the ones that I sort of downloaded and I was like, ooh, gotta have this one. Ooh, gotta have this one. You have some amazing art, and you said your mom's artwork is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mom's name again?
Sabrina Lahmer.
Sabrina, as in the Teenage Witch.
Yes.
So go check out Sabrina's work on her page. Is there anything? Is there a possibility of you and your mom doing something together?
Oh, sure, sure. I mean, we have since I was a tot. The first painting we did together, I was about 4. It was on the 4th of July, and I drew shapes on a canvas, and then she painted them in. But we've actually we did some eco-friendly murals together in New Orleans right after the oil spill in
Okay.
2010. And then several paintings, we actually do collaborate. Even that mermaid, she actually painted the background, and I drew the mermaid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Gina says, tell us about self-publishing.
Oh gosh. Well, it's just been a whole journey. Just finding a U.S. based manufacturer that I liked, that was easy to work with, and that had really great value.
Hmm.
And I'm going to pre-sell it, and I'll be using like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. I haven't decided which. So to actually pre-sell, while I'm also ideally raising money to like cover the bulk cost.
Yeah.
And that's also the benefit of already having like an email list and a social media following and stuff, that there's like a built-in initial audience already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, when you start that and you're ready to do the advertising, make sure you let me know, and I will share as much as I can
Thank
with
you
the radio.
so much.
Your
Thank
pleasure.
you.
No,
Yeah.
I love this. This is what I do. I am a shareaholic, and I want people to. Everybody has something special in them, and I want to make sure that it gets out there.
Hmm.
So that's where
Hmm.
I have. And
Cool.
Gina is very smart. I like that idea.
All right.
Well, we got about 6 minutes to go. Is there anything else you want to let people know about you, about what you're doing?
Oh, goodness. I would be open if there are any questions. I think we've really covered a lot of it. Some people are curious, a lot of like like the spiritual elements of my art and the book have influence from the Baha'i faith, from my upbringing, and that. It's a very, peace loving and unity building faith.
Well, then
Um,
you're in the right area.
what's that?
I said, then you're in with the right company because
Yes,
I
I
don't
knew
know
I
much
would
about the
be.
Baha'i faith, but uh, peace loving and
Unity
like I
building.
said, exactly. For me, as much as the negative goes on around me, I will always find the positive, and a lot of the positive people who are in my chat room and my friends around me. So that's a major plus.
That's so important. That's such a great attitude.
You have to. With like I said, there's so much ick going on out there. It's not just negative. It's just like, ugh, and everybody sees it. I went away for 2 days, didn't see the news whatsoever. My daughter, she doesn't have TV. It's like, yes, nothing. No TV, no, well, radio was just music type of thing, but you don't, there's so I find the silver lining in everything, as bizarre as it sounds. Okay, Candace says, is that your art behind you on the wall?
So these, the cacti are actually my mom's paintings, but I do have one right here. I'll show you.
Tree.
Yeah, so this is the Tree of Wonder.
You have to hold it in front of you.
Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it has a lot
tree.
of texture and stuff. So it's just an example. Sorry, yeah, it's hard to find the center frame. There we go. Yeah, so this is one of mine.
Very beautiful, from Candace.
Thank you. Good question. Thank you.
Yeah, and I spotted the tree, and because, like I said, for some reason that tree resonates with me. Like I said, it's a stick figure tree, but that's a simple way of putting it, because it's not, or I guess you could say it's a winter tree. Because
how much? Oops. This one is on my website. It's called Tree of Wonder. I sell prints, and they're $48 and $24, depending on the size. The original of this one, I believe it's $8.20. It's on my website. And Mama D, I do have a code on my website right now. It's through the end of the month, and it's free shipping. And it's Unity 2020.
UNITY?
If anyone wants. Yeah, Unity 2020. If anyone wants free shipping through the end of September on anything on my website.
Okay. Gina says you sell originals and lithographs?
They're original paintings and prints on archival quality paper.
Okay. So you're going to go and you're going to have free shipping if you write in all caps Unity 2020. And even if you don't, thank all caps, Gina. She's putting thank you, darling. Even if you don't buy, make sure you sign up for the newsletter and the email list so that you can get notified when the book comes out, and you can do the help with the Kickstarter. And if nothing else, share, because this way you get to people get to reach. You may not be interested in buying the book, but if you share it, somebody else might be interested. Like, oh, I have grandchildren that would be interested in having that. So get to it, people. You're nice. She's saying, please, I'm going to do it. It's the mom in me is just kind of saying. So we're at an end. It's 58, 59. Okay. So cool. I thank you very much. Free shipping, Unity 2020, all caps, including the 2020. When the book comes out, maybe you can come back again. And I
would love to. And I'll show it off. Yeah.
Exactly. And hopefully I'll have my copy by then, and then we can both do it.
Cool.
We can do what we got to do. JacquelineArts.com. Thank you very much, Gina B. Well, Jacqueline, it has been great fun. And again, I'm looking forward to the book. I'm pretty sure I signed up on the email list, but if not, you have my email as it is.
Okay.
We'll figure this out. And I will see everybody next week. Thank you again,
All
Jacqueline.
right. Thanks for having me.
It was fun. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
And please stay safe.
All right.